This is the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, which I think got the way bigger upgrade this year compared to the Pro models, with some of the Pro features actually making their way over. But here is the regular iPhone 16. We got it in blue, and it is way more punchy than the blue from last year. I really like the way this new phone looks, especially with the way the color just diffuses around the camera housing. Inside of the box, you get even less this year. There's just a braided USB-C cable, which is pretty nice itself, and then you get your documentation. There's not even stickers this time, and obviously no SIM tool since iPhones no longer have SIM slots. Now, the biggest visual change on the iPhone 16 though is the camera housing, which got a complete redesign. Instead of trying to match the look of the Pro models with those square housings, the iPhone 16's camera housing wraps tightly around the two camera setup, with the lenses themselves being significantly bigger. And because the cameras are stacked vertically this year, the iPhone 16 can now shoot 3D spatial videos, just like the iPhone 15 Pros did last year. The second Pro feature that the iPhone 16 gets is the action button, which defaults to being a ring/vibrate switch just like before, but obviously it can be customized to do a number of different things, from toggling the flashlight to starting a voice recording. But speaking of new buttons, all of the new models this year get a camera control on the right side. It's nice and clicky when you press it. It's actually two-stage, so you can press it all the way in to take a photo, or press it in halfway for different functions. But to be honest, I'm not really a fan of how this works. I don't feel like taking a photo with this button is any better than using the shutter on the screen, and zooming in with it definitely isn't better, since you have to keep lifting your finger up and swiping it multiple times to get a decent zoom. Whereas when you use the screen, it's just way more smooth and fluid. So, at least right now, I would say the biggest benefit from this button is simply being able to launch into your camera quicker, where, it's nice, but I wouldn't upgrade for it. But maybe a more useful feature, and the third previously Pro feature that is now on the iPhone 16, is that the ultra-wide camera has autofocus, meaning you can finally do macro photography, getting closer to subjects than ever before, which, combined with the 2x optical zoom that Apple added last year where you don't lose any resolution, these two sensors on the back of the iPhone 16 basically give you 4 different cameras in macro, ultra-wide, 1x, and 2x. Plus, that ultra-wide camera is also supposed to have better low light performance, although we'll be testing that later. Moving on though, let's take a look at the iPhone 16 Plus. We got this one in pink, and just like the blue, it's super punchy. Now, in terms of the actual feature set though, the 16 Plus is exactly the same as the iPhone 16. The only difference is the size, where you obviously get a bigger screen plus a bigger battery. Under the hood, they both get a brand new A18 chip, so Apple finally stopped using already year-old chips in their non-Pro models, and they actually gave both of them 8GB RAM instead of just 6, which previously only the Pro models had. So I expect a pretty decent performance jump on these new iPhones, which we'll be testing thoroughly soon enough. So make sure you subscribe to stay tuned.